Hi there, this is Lawrence with Accelo, and I'm here to tell you guys about the brand new expenses module upgrade in the Accelo platform. Now, before we actually jump into what this upgrade looks like in Accelo, let's first talk about expenses. So when it comes to doing work for clients, expenses are often part of the deal. With the Accelo expense module, you get two big benefits over standalone expense trackers. First, you can see the impact of expenses on the profitability of the work that you do. And also, you can optionally turn expense into income. Now, tracking the costs associated with the work you do for clients means being able to easily track three key cost factors: time, materials, and obviously, expenses. And with this expense module upgrade, we wanted to make the expenses process faster and easier for users, give better settings for managers, and better control for accounting. Now, before we actually show off the expenses module upgrades in Accelo, let's first talk about the Accelo expenses model. Now, as you can see at the top, we're showing Xero and QuickBooks. These are our two common accounting software integrations with Accelo that a lot of our clients use. And one of the common terms between them are items. Now, what is an item? An item is anything that your company buys, sells, or resells in the course of a business. When you're actually integrating with one of these two platforms, these items will actually be automatically brought in and synced with your Accelo account. And you actually use these items to create expense types, which are then used to create expenses. And then with these expenses, you can use those for invoices and purchases. Now, just note, you don't have to be integrated with Xero or QuickBooks to actually take advantage of the expenses module in Accelo, but just note that it does ease the process a bit. Now, after going over that model, let's just jump right in and take a look at actually creating expense types and expenses themselves. Now that we're actually in the Accelo application itself, let's take a look at the big differences, starting with expense types. So what you're actually looking at on the screen here is the old version of expense types. As you can see, there's not a whole lot to really work with. We get a title, we get a sale code, and a purchase code. And if we want to add a new expense type, we don't really have too much in here. We can add a title, a sale account, a purchase account, a tax code for sale, and a tax code for purchase. But that's really it. Take a look now at the new expense types, where there are so many different things that we can actually put into these to begin building out these expenses. So for example, not only do we get our title, but we also can link certain items to this particular expense type. So those items that are being brought in from Xero or QuickBooks, for example, can be added underneath this travel abroad expense type that I'm creating. To do that, just simply click the link item button. And when that's done, you'll see a list of all the items that you have imported from whatever your accounting platform is. So let's say, for example, for this travel abroad, I want to just choose travel and accommodations. I can give an alternative item title. I can give it a sale amount, so I'll say $100. I'll give it a purchase amount of $50. And then I can choose also my sale account, my purchase account, my sales tax code, my purchase tax code. And once all of that is finished, I can just hit done. Once it's on there, you'll be able to see that actual item linked here on the Edit Expense Type screen. We can also set the quantity in units. So in this case, for traveling abroad, we want to know by miles. We can choose purchase vendor options if we want that to be required or hidden, for example. Also, when creating an expense, we can choose if we want it to default to billable or non-billable. And we can choose a default markup when that expense is being created. We can also choose if we want it to be reimbursable or non-reimbursable. And we can choose if we want it to be exclusive or inclusive when it comes to tax options. So as you can see, tons more customization when it comes to these expense types. And then when we get into creating expenses, we'll be able to see how these are actually applied. So let's move on to creating expenses. Now let's actually dive into creating expenses with the new expenses module upgrade. So what you're currently seeing on the screen is actually the old version of the expenses module. So I'm on a project, and let's say I want to create an expense off of this project. When I click on add an expense in the old version, I get some very basic options. I can get a title, I remember can create a type, but it's extremely basic. I can choose a date, a quantity, a purchase price, and a sale price, and also I can check off if it's reimbursable or billable. With the upgraded version, however, there are a couple of different changes that are super beneficial to the user experience. So when we go into the new version here, there's a couple of things to note. First off, creating expenses off of an object is done in the same way. Just simply go to the Expenses tab and click Add an Expense. However, you can also quickly add an expense from wherever you are in Accelo by hovering over the Create button and then choosing Expense. But in this case, let's just add an expense off of this project. And as you'll see, we're going to get a couple of more additional items that we can actually put into here. So for example, we can always give it a title, but now when we select a type, we're going to notice a couple of things in this mode will actually change. So let's give it a travel type. And we're going to see our units are auto-filled. We could put in a rate if we'd like. We could choose if we want it to be inclusive or exclusive on the tax. And these will all change based on whatever type that we have chosen. We can also choose the date, the owner. We can add our attachments just like before. And we can also choose at the bottom here if we want it to be billable. And we can choose our price per unit, our sale amount, and our markup percent. And we can choose if we want to reimburse the owner. And we can see where the actual expense came from. And if we want to add another expense quickly, maybe at the end of the week, we're deciding to do it all at once, we can just click Add Another, and after we actually submit this particular expense, another modal window will appear with these auto-filled options. Now, as we actually built out this expenses module upgrade, we took our clients' feedback and ideas into account. And as a result, we really truly feel like with this upgrade, everyone wins. By getting those expenses types right, it makes it easier for users to navigate and really requires less thinking. And for those who handle billing, Accelo does synchronize and import those items from the accounting system. And also when it comes time to push those invoices and purchases later, you have a straight through push. We're really hoping as our clients, you guys get in there and try out this new expenses module, and we hope you like what you see. If you have any further questions, be sure to email our team here at support@accelo.com. Thanks for watching.